From ABC News, Trump says he has agreed to offer from ABC News to debate Kamala Harris. Trump had previously cast doubt about debating Harris on ABC. Well, they were supposed to debate on Fox News, and then Kamala Harris didn't want to do it, so Trump agreed to her terms, I guess. And this will be on September 10th. I know we're all excited for this. I don't know. What do you guys think? Harris is apparently not, she hasn't agreed to any of the other debates. Trump wants 3. He gave this press conference where he said she's weak. I don't know the press conference earlier today was actually that good.
It was right. It was not his best.
It was. I think he was just trying to generate press coverage.
Yeah, I think you're starting to see the Trump campaign go back on the offensive, which I appreciate. I think for a little while, especially with the opening days of the Harris campaign, they were sort of naturally having to respond to what was being presented to them. I saw that Harris had tweeted out something like, I see that Trump has finally agreed to the debate, like took him long enough or something like that, which I find so crazy because the original ABC September 10th debate that they had agreed to was Trump-Biden. And I don't understand.
It's not the same deal.
It's not the same thing. I don't understand why the narrative is like he was backing out of a prearranged agreement when Biden backed out first.
When you change the terms of the agreement, it's like, all right, $10,000 and I'm giving you this Honda Civic. And you're like, cool. And then you show up and you're like, just kidding. It's a Ford Pinto, but it looks really nice. And you're like, that's not the same deal we agreed on. We're going to have to renegotiate the price. We're going to have to renegotiate the details. I'm going to want a warranty. Like, it's a different thing. You brought in someone completely new who, by the way, didn't get any primary votes, but you brought in a totally different animal. Of course you're going to renegotiate.
Right. And
it's absurd to think otherwise.
This is what I think is so strange about the Kamala Harris campaign in general, which is that she's walking this line of like, I'm going to carry the Biden legacy, and also like I'm a new, different person.
Yeah, on day one, I'm going to do something new.
If you didn't like what he did, I'm not doing that. But if you liked it, that was all me because I'm on that ticket. Like this is just back and forth that's going to make me personally crazy through November. But I totally agree with you. I mean, if you know, I thought I was voting for you and Elad, and suddenly Serge and some other random guy, Serge being our producer, showed up, I would be sort of frustrated because it wasn't the same ticket, even if you guys are claiming to be part of the same party.
So they switched your chip, like the meme. When you got the new chip in, then you'd be ready to go.
No chips for me. But the other part of this is really, I think that Trump being like, so she had said, I thought you said anytime, anywhere, which I'm pretty sure that's what Biden said. Mm-hmm. Him coming back and saying, okay, 3 debates, back to back to back. The fact that he had proposed, like, I think it was September 5th, this September 10th date, and then September 25th. Like, he is trying to wear Kamala out, which I find fascinating. He is a much better debater than she is.
The more you put her in front of a microphone, the more that you put her to the test, the more you squeeze her, the more you're going to see how weak she is.
And if there are
she's only got a certain number of canned things, and then it's all cackles after that. She's like 3/4 of the can is cackles. Like
she's going to run out the first time, and then any gaffes, any issues that come up, he has another debate coming up.
And he's going to punch her on it, and he doesn't need notes. He's going to remember because he's got that little, he's got that mental thing. He's like, oh, I see where your weakness is. You don't know how to say things back to these particular points. And
were you always interested in Trump? Because you sound supportive of him right now. I don't want to make any assumptions here.
I'm ambivalent. I am a politically conservative, but I'm not a Republican. And I didn't vote for Trump in 2016. I actually liked Gary Johnson better, mostly because one of my buddies hung out with Gary Johnson. One of my buddies' dad hung out with him. But he got my vote in 2020. And I cannot imagine. I'm not going to vote for a Democrat. Like, I have kids, so like that's a no-go. And like I don't like abortion, so that's easy. He's not my best candidate, but my best candidate's not running. So I know that.
Who is your best candidate?
I don't know, Steve Friend, or maybe my buddy Garrett O'Boyle, who's been here before. Like somebody who's got like a lot of principle that has never basically screwed up, and like those people don't run for president. So Trump is the better option by a lot. There's no other person that's going to be able to carry that banner. So that's really easy. I'm not trying to elect a role model for my kids. And that's the thing that I always have to separate. Everybody that's mad about who the person is, right? It's like, dude, it's not a perfect vessel. And by the way, I actually believe in a constitutional republic. I don't think the president should be that important. I think we went off the rails in 1913 for a lot of reasons, and people that are in the chat will be, all amped up about the Federal Reserve. But when we started direct electing senators, I think we went off the rails. We took the situation and we took the infrastructure of this country and we changed it fundamentally. And I also would like to see all the state houses that are red right now. I'd love to see them just go like, you know what? We don't care about your election. Do a general election, say what you want, and then we're going to appoint our electors anyway, because we're not going to do that. And you would still have a better outcome, because I don't think the president should be that important.
Yeah.
The president is not supposed to be a king. And we keep trying to elect like role model, savior, and king. And I just step away from that. I don't want any of that. So anyway, Trump is fine. He's just the people around him that love him, that I like, I'm respectful of them. I've never spent any time with Trump personally. So I don't have that kind of like affection for him. And I don't do the thing where it's like, oh, I've never met him, but like he'll fix all the ills. It's like I don't believe in that either. Like I've also been alive long enough.
One president fix all the ills.
Of course not.
I think so much of this election is going to be sort of righting the ship, like turning it in a direction.
It's going to have to stop the ship tilting. Like,
whichever metaphor you want to go for, right? Like there is something wrong with what our boat is doing, and somebody needs to correct it.
We didn't get fat overnight, right? You're not going to take one pill and drop 50 or 60 pounds and suddenly be healthy. What you need to do is stop eating all the things. Like whatever it is, you need to stop the hemorrhaging or stop putting on the weight or stop the unhealthy lifestyle. I would like to see a stop on that. And Trump spent a bunch of money. Like, let's be real. The guy spent a bunch more money than most people would say are conservatives. So I don't put him necessarily conservative, but he did an objectively better job than the alternative. We've seen it. Like all the excuses they have, they're running away from their record, as you accurately pointed out. Yeah. She's everything to everything. Kamala's a chameleon.
Well, she hasn't even put out a platform yet.
Why do you need a platform when you have voters?
You keep hearing this term, it's a vibes election. It's a vibes election. People who are voting for Kamala are voting for vibes. And you said earlier, you're not voting for a role model for kids. It reminds me of this adage all the time, like, oh, people want a candidate they would have a beer with. I don't actually believe that's true.
I don't need to have a beer with them. I need outcomes. And so I think Dan Bongino said it when he was talking to Tucker best, and it stuck with me. I'm not interested in politicians. I'm interested in outcomes. Are the outcomes better for me, my family, the people around me, American liberty? Can we get those things going?
Well, there's two problems, though. That's if you're talking about maximizing the amount of votes you receive from 330 million people, every margin counts. You're going to go lowest common denominator.
Sure.
And that means you're going to want to go on stage and go freedom. And that's
no tax on tips.
Well, that's actually a policy.
But the problem is like, I don't know how you enact it. You got to still get the House. That's the thing people keep forgetting. Like, where are the people saying, like, not only do we need a Trump, we also need them to go ahead and capture the House and maybe the Senate
theoretically,
too, so
there are things you could do at the executive through the executive branch by instructing how things are enforced in terms of law enforcement, by saying we no longer prioritize investigations.
Hopefully it's just chopping off the FBI at the knees.
But that's a policy saying I don't want taxes on tips or for Social Security. Those are policy plans. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying Kamala Harris is going freedom.
Right.
She has no policy plans whatsoever. The second problem is shadow campaign, ballot harvesting. I wish the election was actually about convincing people and giving them outcomes, but it's not. It's about, can you get more pieces of paper with names on them than the other guy?
Look at what Seb Gorka put out. He shared it earlier on X, and it was an interview of a bunch of people on the street. They're all women, and one guy that is effeminate, so I won't speculate further than that. But they interview, and they're like, what do you think about Kamala Harris? And like, she's doing a great job. She's an awesome vice president. We're like really feeling good about it. And they're like, what's your favorite accomplishment? Or like, what do you feel most strongly about that she's done? And they're like, honestly, like I don't actually know anything about anything. I just have feelings about stuff. And you're right. That's the vibes thing. That is the freedom. That is the no platform. There are people that will still go out and vote. The question is, are they really interested? The polling that I saw from CBS and YouGov essentially said a huge chunk of the Kamala voters are anti-Trump voters.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know how much hate drives people to the polls the second time around.
Right.
I don't think it moves people as much as the 60% of the people that are like, I'm in for Trump.
Third time around.
Yeah.
But also when Trump is the president during COVID and people are angry, they're going to vote. But again, I don't think that matters. I think Democrats are going to send volunteers to nursing homes, into schools, and they're going to collect universal mail-in votes. And then there's going to be a bunch of people who are like, did I vote? I think I did. Oh, whatever. Who cares?
Guess what? The FBI won't investigate it. As we found out in 2020, they refused. They've already told us the election crimes they're interested in are all about voter suppression, not about voter fraud.
Because they've already the Democrats to win.
Of course. I mean, this is the case.
Because as we heard from, who was it, McCabe, that many of them fear they'll be jailed and they'll have to flee the country if Trump wins. So I have to assume.
What did you do? Why do you need to be jailed? What did you do there, Andy McCabe? That's the question I always have when you start telling me you're going to get jailed.
On this debate stuff, I think one of the important details is that Kamala Harris only agreed to the ABC debate and not the other three that Trump was trying to put forward. That's significant because one of the other ones was supposed to be with Fox News, and Kamala Harris has yet to be asked a serious question about her campaign or any of her political stances on this campaign. And she's only going to media-friendly environments, even down the line, because the debate is scheduled from a month from now. She hasn't agreed to the Fox News debate. The previous one was on CNN. Obviously, the last time the Republicans and Democrats debated, the Democrat dropped out. So I think we're in for an interesting debate. But I don't know. I'm having nightmares of when Trump debated Joe Biden the last time, and they were just yelling over each other, and I just had really uncomfortable feelings come across me. He had a really great debate performance this more recent time, but
you were talking about 2020 versus 2024.
I think he's got a better sophisticated take on it right now. From watching him, it's way more disciplined than I would expect, which is great. And Kamala's terrible at this. Like if you leave dead air, she fills it with weird laughs. If you leave any dead air, she's like the most uncomfortable person.
I think she's got some kind of Tourette syndrome.
It's possible.
I'm not being cute.
I'm not a doctor.
A lot of people hyper focus on what they think is laughing. I actually think she may be laughing to cover up a tic. So when she talks, what you need to look for is everybody looks for when she goes, well, let me tell you.
We need Montel.
No, you look at the videos. When the one video I think is good evidence, and I think people should start investigating this, is when she's saying stay woke and be more woke. She's not laughing. She goes, I think we need to stay woke. I'm like, whoa. She wasn't laughing there. Then she goes, I think the laughing was trying to mask that she was having some kind of, maybe she's having a panic attack. And she's trying to make it seem like she's laughing. Well, she doesn't know what to say.
That's what I'm saying.
The stay woke thing was a T-shirt. She was just saying something she heard on a T-shirt.
Probably saw somebody walk with a shirt that had it on.
Right. She's like, stay woke. That's
My brother
what I
did
should
that
say,
once
right?
when he was on mushrooms. He just said things that he read in front of him. So that's
I think we should, somebody should pull up as many videos of her speaking as possible, because people can do this, and look for when she laughs to see how often she's just going, ha, 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 and how often she's talking and going,
hysterical.
A concern.
No, I think it's a panic attack or a tic. Like she can't.
She's covering. I get it.
Yeah, right.
Like kind of like what you see. What is it? Joaquin Phoenix do in Joker, which I just watched on the plane in today.
Right.
Really uncomfortable stuff where you're like, this could go into a cry. This could go into a complete freak out.
Yeah, that's a really good point. If you've seen Joker, Joaquin Phoenix, he's got this disorder where he laughs uncontrollably at random moments, and then he starts busting out laughing like, ah, ha, ha, and then he covers his mouth and starts
painful.
crying.
Yeah,
right.
It doesn't look right. She's covered it decently. I just think she's utterly untalented at a lot of this stuff. So if it turns out that she's covering something up, none of that matters.
That's stay woke video, man. I got to pull that one up.
If she gets in front of Donald Trump and Donald Trump does what he should do, which is be very disciplined, like the best lines that he had sitting up against Biden, he let Biden kind of ramble on and talk about how they defeated Medicare or whatever the heck it is, and he goes, I don't really know what he said, and I don't think he knows either. It's like epic. It's like drop the mic.
I want to play this clip. Just listen. We've heard it before, but really listen.
We have to stay woke. Like everybody needs to be woke. And you can talk about if you're the
That's not laughing. Like
That's massive discomfort.
Listen, no one around her is laughing. There's no joke being made, and she goes, and then she's laughed. I think
everybody needs to be woke. And you can talk about if you're
I think she's trying to make it seem like it's laughter. Like you were saying with Joker, when he's busting out laughing and then he starts crying.
There's something.
Wokest or woker, but just stay more woke than less woke. Yeah.
She's obviously extremely uncharismatic. But my biggest concern for Trump would be in the same way that he made Joe Biden, I think, look old and senile. Donald Trump has 20 years on Kamala Harris. So in a potential matchup, I think Kamala Harris could potentially, the dichotomy between the two, the juxtaposition, seem more energetic, seem more young.
He can beat that really easily by just being presidential, which is to say, let her talk, let her giggle and cackle, let her be weird, let her say all the things she says that are basically word salads of nonsense. The best thing is when she finds a word and then she touches it like 7 times like it's the base. She cannot help it. We used to make this analogy. You guys remember the movie, the X-Files movie, where Magneto's walking and he's like calling together like a bridge in the air. It's all these pieces of metal and he's walking across it, but it's coming from nowhere.
Kamala canceled the debate.
Did she just now?
I think she agreed to the September 10th one with ABC, but not the other two.
Patrick Webb, I don't know if this is true.
Unconfirmed reporting. That's how you cover that. That's easy.
Yeah, that she's not.
Sources in a position to know.
She's refusing the other debates. Trump may not do the.
She's not going to do the Fox News one.
Right.
She wants to stay on friendly turf, which I don't blame her for. The thing is, Trump is so good on his feet, is why, I still have confidence in him. He's so good on his feet, and he'll likely have an iconic moment like when he did with Hillary Clinton with the lock her up.
And I think he is a little bit more unpredictable in terms of what Trump you're going to get. I agree with you. He should be disciplined, but I assume that any Democratic strategist is saying he's going to fly off the handle. He's going to be loud. He's going to try and interrupt.
That's what they thought Biden was going to do to him.
But she's sort of a one-trick pony, right? Like, we know how she'll present on the debate stage, that she is, female girl boss, here to wag her finger at Trump and say, I am speaking, that's her go-to, like, gotta moment for any kind of, we just saw this the other night with the protesters.
Exactly. Like, she had a planned moment in that for when protests were going to chant at her, she'll have a planned moment for when Trump inevitably tries to interrupt her, or who knows, maybe they'll even do the muted mics.
She might even, like, lower her voice and tell us a story because she's a woman making a point.
I hope she whispers, Joe.
There's only one way for her to present, whereas I actually think Trump is more agile. Part of it is the charisma. He's better on his feet. Part of it is because he's actually very authentic. You are getting whatever Trump you're getting, whereas Kamala is, presenting as politician.
Think about this, though. Donald Trump has basically been attacked more than anybody that I've ever seen in any venue, name it. Like, it doesn't matter, in the public eye for like a decade. Mm-hmm. It's pretty hard to take those kind of hits and continuously, like all of this stuff, like he's heard it all before. You're not going to find a new line of attack after a decade of this stuff.
Right.
So I do think it's interesting to see him go out there. Like I said, as long as he kind of he can dial it back. He doesn't need, they have to campaign on a record, and the record is atrocious, and she's terrible at doing it. So just let her talk as much. I would give her 90% of the airtime.
Thanks for watching this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to check out the live show Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. on this channel. Subscribe, and we'll see you all there.